did he do anything, but as far as I know, in the 5 years
Okay,
I've
well
been.
let's just talk about the child that you have with Mr. Allen. We're not gonna focus on his other children. So I understand it. There's DFPS involvement at some point, correct?
Well, at the very beginning of her birth, the doctor and I got into it, and she accused me of having marijuana in my system. They checked my daughter's poop, Desiree's poop, as well as me, and we had nothing. Then, when it came time for Mr. Allen for her to get visitation, they asked for him to go ahead and give up his urine. Mr. Allen chose to not show up, and it stopped based off of me. She doesn't live in my house, so she.
And Mr. Diamond, that turned out not to be that uncomplicated. But what do you got, sir? They
I
all
got a
never
box.
turn out to be that uncomplicated, all right?
Life's like a box of chocolates, Your Honor.
Well, if I was a gazillionaire like Forrest, I wouldn't be sitting here, okay? So yeah. And that's his term, gazillionaire. So yeah. Ugh.
Your Honor, this one is 344134, please.
334134. All right, got it. All right, Mr. Diamond, I'm looking at a max of 30 minutes on this because, like I said, if it's at 5:15, I'm going to shut this one down. So you need to do what you need to do to get that done by then, sir. So I'm giving you a time clock on this one. So anyway, this is the petition to establish parent-child relationship with Mr. Albert Allen and Dorothy Davis. Are y'all both in? I see Ms. Davis. I see Mr. Allen. They're both present. So let's go ahead and get this one on the record. At this time, the court's going to go ahead and call Bell County Calls number 24 DFAM 344,134. This is in the 264 Judicial District Court of Bell County, Texas. As in the interest of Davis minor child, non-custodial authority is Mr. Albert Allen II. Custodial authority is Dorothy Davis. The court's taking judicial notice of the court file. Note for the record that the child in this matter is going to be 2 years old this coming January. That this is before the court on doesn't appear to be an AOP. So let's see, do I vote
It's
for
a
no for this?
paternity action, Your Honor.
Okay, and was there a paternity test order?
Yes, sir. I thought I sent it to Miss Molina,
Yeah,
but it
there it is.
wouldn't.
Okay, I don't see it in the court file, but the court will note that there was a paternity test ordered in this matter. And so both parties have previously been noticed and served. There was an order for paternity testing in the court file. So at this time, I'll ask the state for an opening to tell the court what the state understands the issues to be in this matter and whether or not there are any agreements. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. So the paternity action, there's going to be a DNA test that confirms paternity. My understanding that the agreements are, yes, Your Honor. The agreement is the child's surname will be Davis-Allen. That there is one child of the child of this order, then there's a child outside the order. The child will be covered under government medical. The father will pay 100 for in the medical support. It's guideline 661 child support. The retroactive agreement is going to be between the periods of January 1st of 2023 through today's date. That total is $14,079, and the agreed repayment $121 a month. I don't think there's any evidence that's going to get to a sole managing conservatorship. I don't know if they agree on the JMC or the SMC, but I don't think it's going to matter. They disagree about a geographic restriction. My understanding is that Miss Allen wants geographic restricted just to,
Miss Davis.
excuse me, Mr. Allen wants the geographic restriction to solely Bell County. I think it's been explained to him that the court's not likely to do that. I think Miss Davis wants zero geographic restriction. It's been explained to her that the court's not likely to do that either. And then my understanding is Mr. Allen would like the standard possession order. Miss Davis is opposed to that. And I believe what her testimony to the court will be that it's been, I think, a year and change since Mr. Allen has seen the child that doesn't have a relationship, and that the child has some health issues. The child was born premature, and the there's medication the child takes to treat a skin condition, and there's also asthma. And I think there's Miss Davis, I believe, will tell the court that she has some concerns about the child allowing Mr. Allen to administer what would need to be administered. And I think two other concerns that she's going to raise with the court, that there's been DFPS involvement, but that was closed on February the 15th of 2023. I believe that Ms. Davis's testimony to the court will be that she cooperated with the investigation, and that's why it was closed. But she feels that Mr. Allen did not cooperate. But either way, it was closed. And then I think at some point, Mr. Allen did not have a residence, and I think that she has some concern about where he would have the child if because of that. I think she doesn't want there to be a homeless situation. Anyway, that's what I have, Your Honor, and yeah, that's it.
All right, well, let's get some testimony and find out what the actual circumstances are, and we'll take it from there. Here's the deal, folks. Mr. Diamond is correct. The restriction will probably be granted based on the circumstances, but I'll wait and see what those circumstances are before I do so. And here's the deal, ma'am. Your mom, he's dad. He has rights as a father, and I'm going to need specific information to show why these rights should not be implemented as per the Texas Family Code, and why at least I should not order some type of break-in visitation going forward to get him acquainted with the child and the child's circumstances, and whether or not there is ongoing therapy and treatment to the child on a monthly or about a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly basis that the court needs to know about, and whether or not there is some type of special training available for the father that would deal with those ongoing treatments. So let's find out what the facts are, and we'll take it from there. But as far as any type of speculation is concerned, I don't want to do it until I hear what the testimony of what the actual facts are, and we'll take care of that based on that. So at this time, I need both of you to turn your video and unmute yourselves and raise your right hands.
It says I can't start a video.
Okay, how about you, sir?
No,
all right,
sir.
both of you, we'll just go with the audio. Do you both solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you?
Yes, sir.
All right, you're both officially on oath. Mr. Allen, is there someone in the room with you, sir?
Yes, my wife.
All right, here's the deal, sir. Your wife cannot say anything. She can stay there and stand there, but she cannot say anything. And right now, she can't be called as a witness because she's here during the hearing. So
she can't be hearing nothing. I'm sorry, sir.
Okay. All right, then. I just want to let you know that. But yeah, she can be there if she wants to. If you want to let her stay there, but she can't tell you and cannot answer any questions at this point. So at this time, I'm going to let the state call your first witness, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Call Miss Davis. Ma'am, will you state your full name, please?
Dorothy Ann Davis.
And who's the child that we're here on?
Desiree Ann Davis. Allen.
Who's her father?
Albert Allen.
Your Honor, I'd offer what's been marked as States 1.
All right, folks, this is Stage 1. This is the DNA paternity analysis in your case. Is there any legal reason, Ms. Davis, this paternity test should not come into evidence this time? Ms. Davis, you're technically your own counsel, so that I'm asking you whether or not I should. You have a reason why I should not review the DNA test. You cracked up a little bit, but I think I heard no.
Sorry, no.
Mr. Allen.
No,
Mr. Allen, no. Okay. Any objection, Mr. Allen?
No, sir.
All right, Stage 1's in it. Stage 1 shows that one Mr. Albert Allen II cannot be excluded as a biological father of the child in this case. Probability of paternity is 99.99999999996 with a combined paternity index of, whoa, okay, this is going to be 2.6 trillion to 1. All right, so that one's really out there. So the court will also find that you are the biological father. Yeah, you would have won that 800 million the other night, Mr. Allen. 1,000 plus times for the child's not sure. So this is your $8 billion baby. Okay, there you go. Thank you. You may proceed, Mr. Diamond. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. And so, Miss Davis, do I understand correctly that you agree that the child's last name or surname will be Davis-Allen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What are you doing for health coverage for her?
What do you mean she's on Medicaid?
Yes, ma'am. And my understanding is that Mr. Allen has one other child. Is that your understanding as well?
Mr. Allen
I have
has
two.
two.
I'm sorry. He's on child support for just one of them, though. Is that right?
Oh, that's not my business.
Yes, ma'am. Um,
All right.
so I think you heard the numbers I gave the court. I think 661 on the child support, the current child support, 104 on the medical support. Were those numbers acceptable?
Yes, sir.
And then the total retro amount would be $14,079 with agreed repayment of $121 a month. Were those numbers acceptable?
For the back child support, yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Thank you. So let's talk about the geographic restriction. My understanding is that you're opposed to any type of geographic restriction.
I mean, well, like I was explaining to you, that I was just saying that I shouldn't be restricted, and I'm the one that's trying to look out for her well-being. We're in a 3-bedroom right now. I would like to move up to a 4. So if I can,
Stop. I'm sorry, ma'am. You took that football and ran. So yeah, you need to slow down here a second, ma'am. All right, you need to listen to the question, answer the question, and answer only that question. Don't try to run with it like that.
I don't know what.
So again, Mr. So the question was if you're an objection to the geo restriction, and I know the answer to that is yes, and the state will go into any further detail after that yes answer. You may proceed, Mr. Diamond.
Your Honor, in the interest of time, may I lead the witnesses?
Yes, you may. Thank you.
Okay, so tell me if I have it correctly, Ms. Davis. You have a large family, is that correct?
I have 2 other children that live in the household with me as well.
Okay, and so finding a residence that would accommodate all of you, as I understand, it would be challenging. Is that correct?
I just would like to not have restrictions on where I find it at. If it's in Georgetown, that's what the woman told me wasn't what it wasn't going to work. So that's why I have a problem with it, because I don't feel like I should. I'm going to tell you guys wherever I move. I wouldn't keep my address from y'all, but
Right,
that's just
right. What I'm getting at though, you have specific housing needs, and it's going to be a challenge to find something that meets those needs. Is that right?
As I'm here in Killeen.
Okay.
Houses.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, ma'am.
All right,
no, I was just repeating.
Don't move around too much. Don't move around too much, ma'am. Your cell phone's back up. Here's the deal, ma'am. Geo restrictions are usually Bell, the county you live in, plus any county that touches your county. And obviously, if you're in here in Bell County, Williamson County touches Bell County, and I usually throw in Travis just for the fun of it. But is there legal? So that's what geo restrictions usually are. So I'll let the state proceed with further questions. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So if the court were to include Travis County as one of the counties where you could reside with the child, would that be acceptable to you?
I mean, I'm not moving to Detroit or none of that type of stuff. I'm not going across the country, is what I'm saying.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So let's talk about the visitation. So my understanding is you're asking for supervised visitation. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. So let me. I think I understand where you're coming from, but let me see if I have it. So you have your biggest concern is that Mr. Allen does not have a relationship with your daughter. Is that right?
At all. She doesn't leave my side. Like, she's very attached. What do you call attachment problems?
Yes, ma'am. And so how many times since she's been born has he seen her?
Besides the 2 times at the hospital, 3 times, I'm sorry, at the hospital. Here at my house, he's probably came about 4. And that's when she was little. She wasn't walking or active like she is now. She definitely is not going to go to him.
How long has it been since he's seen her?
7 to 8 months, almost a year.
All right. Does she know who he is?
If I say it 1,000 times when he's around, she was halfway getting to know him.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So let me. I think I have it right. So you have concerns about Mr. Allen's parenting for a number of reasons. Is that a fair statement?
Half and half, yes, sir. Because Mr. Allen, child like I've raised children, they never left my side since I've had them. Mr. Allen's a weekend dad. I don't know about when they were younger, did he do anything? But as far as I know, in the 5 years.
Okay, well let's just talk about the child that you have with Mr. Allen. We're not gonna focus on his other children. So I understand it. There's DFPS involvement at some point, correct?
Well, at the very beginning of her birth, the doctor and I got into it, and she accused me of having marijuana in my system. They checked my daughter's poop, Desiree's poop, as well as me, and we had nothing. Then when it came time for Mr. Allen for her to get visitation, they asked for him to go ahead and give up his urine. Mr. Allen chose to not show up, and it's not based off of me. She doesn't live in my house, so she stays with you, is what he told me.
Okay. So did I tell the court correctly? You believe that the DFPS closed the investigation because you cooperated?
I did everything that they asked, and she told me it was up to me to allow
Hey,
him
ma'am, stop.
I didn't know.
This is not the way you're going way past the question.
The man
The
asked.
state asked you, the Department of Public, the Texas, well, Protective Services closed their case because you cooperated. That's a yes or no answer, ma'am. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Right,
And you're very concerned about the fact that Mr. Allen did not cooperate with their investigation,
yes,
correct?
Sir.
Okay. And you're asking the court to take that into consideration? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that's the first issue you had. The second issue, as I understand it, your daughter was born premature. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And as I understand it, we know that there's an asthma, we know that there's eczema, and you think there might be other problems that they're going to continue to discover. Do I state correctly?
They are evaluating her. She's in ECI, sir.
Yes, ma'am. So tell the court in maybe a sentence or two, if you could, how serious is the asthma?
Child intervention. They come to my house twice a month, as well as I have to be on a Zoom call once.
Yes, ma'am. All right. I'm sorry that I neglected that. So is that during the week, or when are those time periods?
Schedule the date. Like she has another one coming up on the 17th of this month. It's whenever they schedule the date, sir.
Yes, ma'am. So you have concerns that Mr. Allen would cooperate with those if he had the child?
He doesn't know anything about it. Don't even talk to Mr. Allen for him to be involved.
Okay. All right. She has asthma, correct?
Yes, sir.
How serious is the asthma?
It flares up at times.
Okay. What kind of treatments does she require?
She has a whole machine and a face mask and albuterol nebules that have to go in there.
Okay. So you have concerns that Mr. Allen would be able to
I bought mine out of pocket. So that means it will stay here, or unless it's going to be traveling. It's
all right. The money even aside, and I realize money does matter, but the money aside, you don't have trust that he'd be able to treat her if necessary. Is that fair statement?
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
So tell me if I understand you correctly, but aside from the money, even though that's important, you're not convinced that Mr. Allen would be able to treat her if necessary. Do I state correctly?
I mean, I never said that.
Okay. All right. Then I misunderstand then. All right. Then she has eczema as well. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. She has cream.
Okay. And how often does that cream need to be applied to the eczema?
Twice a day is what she's going through now. They're flare-ups. They come and go.
Okay. And do you believe that Mr. Allen would let Allen treat her with the cream for the eczema?
I just don't feel safe. It's between her legs. One of them.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right. And then I think that the last issue, as I understand it, you have concerns about Mr. Allen's residence. Is that right?
It's not a concern. I mean, a year ago, half ago, I know Mr. Allen didn't have a safe place to stay in or was on the rocks with it. That's all I was speaking of. I just don't want my daughter to be around that.
So you would want some sort of assurance that he had a stable residence before
Yes.
she ever went to stay with him.
A bare minimum with the supervisor, and then we work our way up so she can build trust. And I know for sure that it's an easy pick up and drop off. I ain't never had no problems with him. It just been created now.
So let me ask you this: if the court were to order step-up visits, how many supervised visits would you want Mr. Allen to?
6 steps. It's like 6 different steps. I would like to go through those.
Well, the judge has a lot of discretion, so it could be 6 a step, it could be 1 a step, it could be more than 6.
Based off of what I was told, it's up to the judge. I'm not saying no definite, but I would like to start at the bottom so she can know who he is. She knows me. That's the only words that she's saying, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you? And that's I forgot about that. She's
Doesn't talk.
Practically nonverbal. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's why we're doing child intervention and continuously. They're talking about her doing sign language before if she can't speak.
Okay. I'll pass a witness, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am. What city you live in right now?
I'm in Killeen, Texas, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, I'll be back in just a moment, ma'am. I'll call you next witness, Mr. Diamond.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Allen, will you state your full name, sir? You're muted, sir.
Yes, sir. My name is Albert Michael Allen II.
Okay, and so I don't forget later on, where do you live, Mr. Allen?
I live in Killeen, Texas.
Thank you. All right, so let's go through what I understand the agreements to be. So tell me if I have these correct. So the first thing is that the child's surname will be Davis-Allen. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and then my understanding that the child support is calculated giving you credit for a child outside this order. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then my understanding that the guideline calculations that you're not opposed to, child medical support would be $104 a month, and the current child support would be $661 a month. Is that right?
I guess so. I've been trying to put her on my insurance since I took her to court the first time. So
yes,
a year
sir.
ago.
Okay, and you understand that if you're able to get her on your insurance, we can take you off the medical support.
Mm-hmm.
And we can do that in the office. You just have to get in touch with us.
Okay.
Okay. And then the retroactive child support or back pay, back child support, different terms that people use, $14,079. Is that your understanding?
Yeah, which is ridiculous, but yes, for 1 year. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And then the repayment amount would be $121 a month until that's paid off.
Yes, sir, I guess.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it, sir. So let's talk about the geographic restriction. Am I correct in saying that you disagree with the geographic restriction?
Yes, sir. I mean,
okay. All right. So let's talk. And you're asking for a standard possession order. You want to have regular visitation.
Go into what he's in disagreement about for a standard geo restriction order. Okay, thank you.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Your Honor, I skipped over that. So, Mr. Allen, my understanding is you're asking that Miss Davis be limited to just Bell County. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you realize that that's a lot narrower than the court typically does. So why is that appropriate in this situation?
Because I feel like she was trying to take her away from me. She kept her away from me this long. And last time I seen her was in April. I've been trying to get my child to come visit me, be with me since she was born. I understand she was a premature baby at the time, so I did allow 6 months. She met her brother, her one of her oldest brothers, two times. I got pictures and everything.
Okay, here's this. I'm gonna slow you down, sir. Mr. Allen, the standard is Bell and contiguous counties, which means counties that touch Bell. The further, and if I throw in Travis, the furthest this child will ever, under that order, will possibly be away from you is South Austin. So, or North, North Coriel or whatever, but that's the standard, sir. It's just not the county that she lives in, it's the counties that touch.
I understand. I'm not even from Texas. I'm from Chicago. So I'm from Chicago, so I'm not even from Texas. So I don't even know what counties is what.
So, oh, okay. But again, sir, at max, they were in South Austin. So that's from Bell County. That's once you hit the county line, that's about a 50-mile trip. So again, it's doable, sir. All right. So I'm just trying to figure out why I shouldn't order that. So it doesn't sound like there should be a problem with that. Well, I'll let the state proceed with the questioning at this time. You may proceed, Mr. Diamond. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. So is there a reason why you can't travel an hour or so to see the child?
Currently, I just lost my vehicle maybe like 3 months ago. Went down on me. So I'm just trying to get the vehicle back up. So I don't have a vehicle at this present time.
Okay. Would that be the biggest reason?
Yes, I have no family here, but me and my wife. We don't have no vehicle. I have 5 other kids here. It stays with me, so it's hard. So.
Yes, sir. So let's talk about the. I mean, you heard the concerns that Miss Davis has. What kind of a relationship would you say you have with the child?
I mean, it's not even it's hard to get a relationship because every time I try to be over there, she wants to be there. I had supervised business since she's been born. You understand? I never had one-on-one time with my child. Period. She's always been there. It's always been at her home. I have never got the chance to be with my daughter. Period. Since she was born, I was
Yes,
there
sir.
for her birthday. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Just, all right.
It's getting a little irritating. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Stop,
So, you know what I'm saying?
stop, sir. Again, you're running with the football. I get it. You
Yeah, I say I'm sorry. That's why I say I'm
all
sorry. You know what I'm saying? You guys are a little irritated.
right. Now, how many supervised visits have you already had with the child? And when's the last time you had a visit with the child, sir?
Last time I had a visit with the child was in April. I brought my stepson over there with me. I was dropping off shoes.
Okay.
This is my stepson, my youngest stepson that lives with me.
Okay.
That's why I said 8 months.
How many visits have you already had with the child, sir?
I could say more than 20. I've been to her house multiple occasions.
All right. Well,
That first year, when she was in the hospital, her birthday, it slowed down afterwards because me and her was not getting along. Me and the mother. She wanted money. I wanted visitation. I wanted time with my daughter. So that's when I stopped trying so hard because it was hurting me mentally. So for me to keep my sanity, I backed off. I want my daughter. That's the only thing. I just want my daughter for the weekends that I'm off.
Sir, you're running with the question too. So you said you had 20 visits and the last one was in April, right?
Yes.
All right, thank you. You may proceed, Mr. Diamond.
Thank you, Your Honor. So let's talk about the residence where you are now. How many bedrooms is it?
I have a 3-bedroom.
So what type of accommodation would your daughter have if she was staying with you?
She'd probably be in with the girls.
And how old are they?
I have a 4-year-old, 7-year-old, and 10-year-old.
Okay. Miss Davis had some concern about if you had to apply this eczema cream between the legs. Is that something that your wife or one of the other females in the house could deal with?
Yes, I don't know. She had a problem.
Mr.
Yes.
Diamond, that's necessary. The fathers have to change diapers. Okay, I have to change
Right, you know what I'm saying?
diapers.
Like, come on,
Sorry.
man. That's my child. That's my baby.
Okay, so yeah, I got it. That's a non-starter. So, unless the father's been a convicted sex offender, we're not going to go there. All right. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Did you want to judge change diapers? I had to look. Okay, sorry. So
come on now.
All right.
If he,
All right, you may proceed, Mr. Diamond.
how was she going to?
I think that
Ms.
covers
Davis,
it, Your Honor.
Ms. Davis, you're not the witness now. Stop. All right. Thank you.
I'll pass a witness, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. You can recall Ms. Davis and tell her and let her give her concerns about why the father should not be able to change the. Well, I'm not sure if the child's still in diapers or not, so I'll find that out too. So you may recall Ms. Davis at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Ms. Davis, just a couple brief questions. Do we have reason to believe that Mr. Allen is?
Sir, you asking me a question, or you're going to ask the questions that you just asked me? Because the ECI is the main thing I was concerned about. I'm not. He has a wife, he just said, so I wasn't worried about if he's going to make sure her diaper down below. I was just answering your questions. The ECI is the main thing. She has to be in the room with me and the woman, or him. He hasn't went to one. Twice a month, as well as on Zoom.
Sir, ma'am, for clarification, what's ECI stand for?
Early child intervention.
Okay. All right. And right now, the child is not verbal. Is that correct?
Say it again.
The child cannot speak.
No.
Okay. But she has not been, and again, the judge is not up to date on what the latest nomenclature is for people who used to be. So someone was mute. So so I'm not sure what the latest what that's called the day's standards. But there is a concern that she will never be able to speak. Is that correct?
Well, not. It's just going to be delayed. They're saying they're looking at 3 to 4 before. That's why they're trying to go through sign language in process. She points and like will grab you and take you to things. She doesn't speak.
Okay. All right. All right then. And at this time, is there any indication that she's not going to be able to do school or at a normal schedule? She's going to be 2 later, but school starts pre-true school starts when these days when they're 4. Is there any indication that she's going to be developmentally behind as children of her like age, ma'am?
That's what they're
Anything
classifying.
like that at this point? Okay. All right then. Anyway, state has any other question of either witness?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Stop.
All right then. I'm going to let each of y'all tell me. And again, ma'am, I'm looking at. I can't speculate. I can't guess. I can't go on what may or may not happen in the future. But under the normal schedule, under my normal schedule, the father or the non-custodial party in the case, I usually have a break-in visits. He says he's already had a bunch, but he hadn't had anything since April. But I normally orders break-in visits on specific dates and time, and it's usually the first, third, and fifth weekends of the month. We start out with 6 visits, with you being present on specific times and dates, and after those 6 visits, he gets to pick the child up for 4 hours. After those 6 visits, he gets to pick the child up for 8 hours. And after those 6 visits, he gets overnight visitation. Is there any reason of 6 visits? And then he gets to a standard possession order, and I'll make a decision on whether or not that's a full standard possession order based on the fact that the child is still under the age of 3. So with that in mind, ma'am, is there a specific reason why the court should not go along this path as far as these circumstances are concerned?
You're asking me, but y'all gonna still choose to do what y'all want to. So no, sir. She has an appointment coming up on a.
Okay, ma'am, you cracked up. The break-in visits are always on the weekend. Does she have appointments on the weekend, ma'am? Saturdays or Sundays?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, Mr. Allen, do you work on weekends or are you off on Saturdays and Sundays?
No, I work every other weekend, 12-hour shift, night shift, 7:30 p.m. to 7 a.m.
All right, and you say you work every other weekend, but so that means you have every other weekend off, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. And what shift you say you work, sir?
7:30 p.m. to 7:30 a.m.
Okay, 12-hour shifts. All right, and on the weekends that you are off, so if the court ordered visitation on Saturdays from 1 to 5 or Sundays 1 to 5, could you make those work, sir?
I don't think, because consider what dates y'all what days y'all got, what weekends y'all have it. I believe y'all weekends starts like the weekends I work. So I was trying to be, at least if I could get the weekends and I'm off, it'd be a whole lot better for me. Trying to do that because
I'm really trying to get them on weekends that you're off. That's why I asked you the question, sir, was if I ordered visitation on Saturdays or Sunday and 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock to start things out, based on could you get on those weekends you have off, would that work with your schedule, sir?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, then. Is there any other questions of either witness at this time, Mr. Diamond?
Nothing else, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to let the state make a closing statement and tell the court what they're requesting I'm going to do, and I'm going to go ahead and then let the parties make a closing statement of what they what they request the court to do, and the fact that they are their own legal reps at this time. So I'll start with the state, then go to the individuals. Mr. Diamond, based on the testimony you've heard here today, outside the visitation package, what are you requesting the court to do as a final order here today, sir?
Your Honor, so it's Davis Allen for the surname, 1 child in, 1 child out, 104 on the medical, the current medical, 661 on the current child support, total retro $14,079 from January of 2023 until today's date, and the requested repayment is 121. And I believe joint managing conservatorship is going to be appropriate here, but I'll defer to the court there, and I defer to the court on everything else.
All right, Mr. Allen, closing statement, sir. Anything else you're asking me to do, sir?
I'm just anxious to get my child. Y'all taxing me, take my whole check. So I just want my child. Y'all take my money. Let me get what I'm paying for. My child, my love that I want to give my child. Y'all just took my whole check from the family I have at home. Plus the one I got in college. But
Ms. Davis?
ooh,
Okay. Ms.
yes,
Davis.
I'm even paying. Sorry.
No,
All right,
sir.
here's the deal, sir. Closing statement, ma'am.
Not one.
All right, here's what I'm gonna do, folks. I'm gonna name you both joint management serves. I'm gonna give mom the right to decide domicile. That right is going to be restricted to Bell and contiguous counties, along with throwing in Travis County as the geo restriction in your case. I'm making this a temp order. I'm going to go ahead and order the child support, cash medical support, and retroactive child support as testified to and agreed to. I'm ordering the name change as testified and agreed to. What I am going to do as far as a temporary order is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to appoint attorney ad litem to represent the child in this matter. And I'm going to go ahead and start off with child visitation on weekends at the first level, which is 6 visits, starting at 1 p.m. on Saturday, going to 5 p.m. on Saturdays. Those Saturdays at this time are going to be on the Saturdays that Mr. Allen has off. Mr. Allen, you have to let the mother know 72 hours in advance which Saturdays you're going to come over at 5 o'clock. And my understanding is, sir, the very next Saturday after you do your visits, you have to work. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
So the mom will know what Saturdays to be looking for. So again, we're going to start out with 6 visits on the first, third, and fifth Saturdays from 1 to 5. And at this time, is there a problem with having them at mom's residence, or do we need to pick a neutral site, sir?
Pick a neutral site. I don't want to be around it.
Oh. All right, here's the deal, folks. Y'all got to
She
get over this.
Oh, sir.
She can't even meet her other
Y'all are
family.
grown-ups. Stop. All right. Folks, y'all are grown-ups here, and you're not acting like it, okay? I don't care what y'all have this child together, and y'all got to deal with this child for another 16 years. I'm giving the baby a lawyer. The baby's lawyer is going to make recommendations going forward of what I should do as far as this child's concerned, and how I'm going to set everything else up. So I'm setting up the child support. I'm setting up the cash medical. I want to go ahead and order visitation, but since y'all are going to act like this and do like this, I'm not going to order any court order visitation until your child's lawyer has the opportunity to meet both of you, see your residence, and make recommendations going forward. It wasn't in the best interest of her client because the two of you obviously cannot as adults. Okay, so the baby gets a lawyer, and the baby's lawyer will put down the hammer the way she still feels fit. I'm going to appoint Miss Chanel Lambert as the child's lawyer. And we're going to come back in a month or so where Ms. Lambert can make recommendations about visitation going forward, because I can't let y'all two can't act like adults and let the court make a ruling on this without me having to go into excruciating detail on how everything's going to be set up. Because here's the bottom line: at the end of the day, after the ad litem makes her recommendations and after everything is set up, if the father doesn't pay his child support, we can look at an enforcement, and he can end up in jail. If the mom does not allow visitation as per the court order and ad litem's recommendations, she could end up in Bell County Jail, which is ridiculous. The line is that's the bottom line. So here's the deal: Miss Lambert's going to be the child's lawyer. First off, I actually need y'all permission to give Miss Lambert your email and your phone numbers so she can be in contact with both of you and see what y'all want to do. But again, she's not Mr. Allen's lawyer. She's not Miss Davis' lawyer. She's the baby's lawyer. And what she says will carry more weight with me, what either of you tell me going forward. And she's going to do an investigation of what the child's special needs are and whether or not there need to be special circumstances set up under this order going forward, dealing with those special needs. So I'm going to start with you, Ms. Davis. Ms. Allen's already unmuted himself. Is there a problem with you giving, with the state giving the child's lawyer your contact information, email, and phone numbers, ma'am?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Allen, is there a problem?
No, sir.
All right. Here's the deal, folks. The reason I'm doing this, I could go ahead and try to do this without the lawyer getting involved, but I want this to work. in your child's best interest that both of y'all work together going forward. It's just better when both parents are on the same page. But and to make sure that happens, I'm going to go ahead and appoint an ad litem. The ad litem is probably also going to recommend going forward that you two communicate via a parenting app called App Close. But I'm going to save that for the next hearing, but y'all can start looking that up because App Close, everything can be confirmed what you do based on that paternity, on that parenting app. But anyway, Miss Walker, what day is Miss Lambert coming back?
Your Honor,
sometime
she
after
has it
13th
already.
of-
Sorry, Your Honor, she has it. It's
Okay.
10/24 is the soonest.
Okay, here's the deal, folks. We waited this long. We can wait one more month. I'm going to go ahead and reset this matter to October 24th when Ms. Lambert's